Namaste, witchlings! Welcome to Die the Yoga Witch podcast. I am Die, your favorite yoga witch, and this is my channel. Today, we are continuing the Veterans Day theme from last week and talking to a friend of mine who is a fellow veteran. Alex Coquíto is a 42-year-old Navy vet, father of one, PTSD survivor. He has lived through 6 car crashes, 3 drownings, 5 shootings, some ex girlfriends, and life in general. So if you want to know a little bit more about him and hopefully don't, regurgitate what you ate for the last 6 weeks from the shock of hearing what he has lived through, pay attention.
Pueblo fuerte despertar, oye bien, esto tiene que acabar. La corrupción se va a derrumbar, nuestra tierra no puede esperar. Mujeres, hombres en la calle, sin temor, con fuerza, dale. Juntos somos un gran detalle, juntos cambiamos este valle. Levántate, Puerto Rico, el cambio está en el aire. Ya no más políticos, hay que hacer un gran alarde. Gritos se oyen en San Juan, desde el norte hasta Ponce, con el corazón en la mano, no más corrupción responde. Bailaremos en las plazas, una nueva esperanza, el orgullo no sabe.
Now, with that really awesome intro, without any further ado, here he is. Welcome to my channel, Alex.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry I fell on something. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, aliens and monsters, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Coquíto, aka Reactions, aka former Navy veteran on the LHD Bonhomme Richard number 6.
Yep.
Bringing it back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so the man behind the curtain put together a really awesome supercut of some of the things that we discussed during our interview, and a lot of that is going to be discussed here today. So let's watch that real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, is my friend from 20 years ago, back in the Navy, in my days where we don't talk about that on my end, the Navy. But we hopefully in the future going to have a conversation about my life. I need someone that was actually there to actually talk about the stories of what I remember, because you were there for a good 35% of my life in California at that portion. We were all just weird people with our own like eccentrics. Like everyone, like I was messed up, insecure, and I was alky all the time, and I was kind of crazy. She might not even know the tip of the shit that I live in this fucking crazy ass world. Like this is crazy. In Puerto Rico, 10 years ago, I was living in a house with no light, no water, walking a mile a day to wash myself, and then eating just potted meat and bread. I trusted no one. No one gave a crap about me except for the mother of my child and my child. You met me during the like fun times and then like all the other times. The things I remember just would make a person wake up sweaty. I think it's either the beatdowns, the various liquids of things that come out of your body that were thrown at me, or the fact that I had to hide half the time because I was getting like beat up all the fucking time. Ladies and gentlemen, trauma and wonder are wondrous things because you remember it, and I have somewhat of an eidetic and a photographic memory, but also my trauma kind of like sometimes like magic marker blacks the lines of stuff that happens. I still have the fear because of PTSD. We talked about it, of someone somewhere. What I want to do in my life, for me example, I want to make sure my son's okay and understand the understanding of life. So when I go, he knows the good and bad. And at this point, I kind of overachieved that shit because he already knows that by.
A wonderful place to stop on my face.
Yeah, that's life. Yeah, that's a weird thing to talk about because again, ladies and gentlemen, I told my beautiful girlfriend, future wife, and close personal group of friends, I'm gonna talk about things that you guys have never heard because after I came back from the Navy, I kind of closed that up because it was just things I don't talk about. These things that happened, and I'm not a unique case. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not the one person in the whole entire Navy crew. Hiya, Forrest. That no, I'm just one person. That's all. And I'm just telling you my story. So I give you a nice little spoiler for everybody. I told Di to give me some questions blind, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna have some fun. And if she really understands me, that means she'll delve deep into the psyche of insanity. And my friend Pooh Bear told me once, when you try to understand insanity, it's like trying to pee in the Grand Canyon. You're never gonna fill it up,
Nope.
but you're gonna try. So
Yep.
shout out to Pooh Bear wherever you are, if you're alive or dead. I don't know. Yeah, such is life.
So, I joined the Navy at 17 for multiple different reasons. Um, how old were you when you enlisted?
Um, 18. I think. Let me see. 18, but took the year program and then got into San Diego. Got into Chicago by 19. Basically, like right
Okay.
around my birthday, there was a rave 4 days after. Basically, I'm like, yeah, I got in trouble. And the reason I got enlisted, ladies and gentlemen, was the fact that I was smoking marijuana on top of my mama's house. And my dad, rest in peace, at the time was he's still alive at that time. Saw me and said, "Get the fuck out, go to Florida, and you got 5 days." And ironically, 4 days later, my friend made a giant rave in a rainforest. So we had a rave in a rainforest. That was actually pretty cool. And it was literally from the fourth night to the fifth day. All right, guys, see ya. My mom picked me up at the rainforest and then took me straight to the airport. Took me to the Navy Center in near San Juan, and then dropped me off. Gave me a big hug. I cried, she cried, and then off to the races. So yeah, so
Yep.
18 to 19.
Yep. My grandfather was the one who swore me, and so
Yeah.
I was blessed enough to have plenty of family around to wave me off and say "see ya," and then not answer the phone when I called to let them know I made it. That was the best part.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a survivor of PTSD, much like me.
Mm-hmm.
My service connected rating for PTSD stems from military sexual trauma. And I know that your time in the service was marked by a fuck ton of violence towards you. Do you want to share part of what contributed to your PTSD?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we're starting off with the rough stuff.
Caroline. All right. Let's start off. If we want to start off from the beginning of when I got really fucked up like mentally, it wasn't from the violence. Like that happened after I got traumatized. I got traumatized when we went to Iraq on our ship and just started bombing the shit out of everything. Like and then I've said it in different podcasts that they showed us on video down in the barracks and down on the main deck and just showing us in giant just that fucked me up. But let's speak to the violence. When I was in the Navy, I didn't really play well with others in the sense that I didn't really care about anybody else but myself because I was like 19, 20 years old, understanding that there was way more like life than just like salsa music and eating Puerto Rican food. I would go out, have fun, drink. I would try to sneak in some drinks at 19 because again, I was a Puerto Rican. So at 18, you were legal to drink. 16 if you're
Oh,
Puerto Rican.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was 19.
By the time you got there, drinking age was 21 on base.
Yep, exactly. And and it took me 2 years to like finally drink. And by the time I hit 21, I went off to the races. But at 19, fresh 19, from 19 to 20, I remember there was these. Now, the two brothers from Texas, like they didn't like the way I talked. I guess they didn't like the way I walked. But whatever the reason was, they would systematically, like jokingly, and I put these air quotes, jokingly whoop my ass. Just straight up like fucking shank punches on my ribs. And even to this day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing a back brace because I always have a floating rib that kind of like pops out and really messes with my right on my backside. And I can't even walk sometimes. From there, it was always doing the grunt work. I was an MM down in the boiler, just doing hard grunt work all the freaking time. Seeing discussions being talked about women, animals with women, just things that shouldn't have been said out loud. Yeah, I'm not gonna bring that up because that's like I remember the conversations and I remember the people talking about that. I'm gonna bring up certain members of that group that had their karma come up and from the almost said that from the brothers. I met a couple people from Alabama, a couple people, the Filipino gang that back in every ship they had a freaking Filipino gang back in the 2000s. Everyone, like you didn't fuck with them. The real trauma happened. I think it was, and I think I've said this before. It was either before when two of my members of my own crew grabbed me and then burnt a cigarette on my face because I asked for a cigarette. Or the time where they accused me of stealing a belt, right? And I was sleeping. And around I think it was 10:30 at night, someone opens up my sheet on my bunk. I was on the top bunk. And they just start beating my ass, like about 2-3 guys. No soaps or nothing, just straight up punches. And I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm trying to block myself. I'm getting punched in every direction. And then they say, motherfucker, you stole my fucking belt, motherfucker. Da, da, da. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And when I see someone switch my belt with someone else's, and then it was his belt, I got beat up for just really fucking. Yeah. It happened more than once. People would take my shirts or my pants and my underwear. I have to mark my underwear with my name and then switch it with somebody else's and then say I stole it. A lot of things happened. I was not a hygienic man in the Navy because I didn't understand how to do laundry and I didn't I didn't understand finance control. I mean, you give a 20-year-old $600 every 2 weeks, they're gonna drink it out or fuck it out. Either way.
Yep, it is not getting spent wisely. No,
of course not. Another traumatizing moment that I have never said, that when I went to Tijuana the first time, my friend took my last $10 and just went to have sex with a hooker. And I had to go all the way back to the border. Luckily, I had my ID and beg for people just to give me, I think, about $5 just to get back home on the trolley. Just that. That's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I knew that I can just not pay and just skip a couple times, but it was, I think it was a Thursday night to Friday morning. There was cops everywhere. I knew that they were going to stop me. They were always checking people. I'm like, I'm a Navy guy. I can't really explain that. That was another traumatizing moment. Then the fun part started. I got to take a drink of this. All right.
While you take a drink, we have someone in the comments who was on the BHR with you.
Oh, of course. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
I specifically told him, hey, we're talking about some of the less pleasant aspects, but he was there to live through it with you. And, well, he knows me about as well as anybody.
Is it redhead?
Nope.
Okay.
The one I actually married, not the one I had kids with.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Yes. Oh, no. I wouldn't invite that one into my comments talking to you. Oh, God, no.
Thank
that is chaos waiting to happen.
Okay, that's fine. And
Yeah.
thank you for remembering the BHR
Yep.
because I there's if we go by stories of what I've done, then please send me the comment. I remember a lot more. I'm just trying to ease us into this, ladies and gentlemen. I remember I gotta wine and dine you before we go down to the bang bang. I just can't do it like
Yep.
that anymore. I'm a gentleman. All right.
Did you hear that the BHR finally suffered the fate of every other ship that has been named Bonhomme Richard?
What happened?
She caught fire.
She always caught fire. Like when I
Oh
was there,
no.
she caught fire twice.
Oh no. This was like a 6 alarm fire. She was unrecoverable and has been decommissioned.
Shit.
Yeah. Dude, I'm surprised I didn't tell you about it because I told Ash and the other one about it.
No,
Half
because
the
I
time I
just
forget I'm talking to you still.
no like
But yeah.
because it I mean that ship broke down more times than I was there than anything I've ever remember. Like by like we broke down near Guam, ladies and gentlemen. Like we'll get to like the times where I had to wake up at 3 a.m. and freaking run, and everyone's screaming at each other and don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they know something broke. That's something
Yep.
broke. We don't know. Like, oh,
The one deployment I lived through with you guys, the wonderful never ending, I want to say it was OEF
yeah,
is the second one.
true.
As you said, you guys broke down near Guam, and from my understanding, there was essentially a little hole in the wall that had it gotten any bigger, the wall between the boiler and the
Yeah,
room behind it, had it gotten any bigger, you guys would have been gone.
yeah.
Because what
We
was
didn't know
being
that.
stored in that room behind the boiler, in somebody's infinite wisdom,
Yep.
were the munitions for that never ending deployment.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Why the CEO did not decide to turn around and come back to San Diego then, other than the fact he liked being deployed.
Oh yeah, that captain was new. Remember?
I don't remember his name, but yeah, he was the one that anytime you guys were given the opportunity to go underway for any length of time, he's like, ooh, we'll go.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give you a nice little not even a trade secret. Bonhomme, since the Bonhomme Richard is commissioned, we can talk about it like ghost stories. Not even this captain. When the new, I don't even remember his name either, but he was new. When I got there, he just got there as well. Like, oh, I'm gonna try something new. Da, 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 da. There was a brick of white powder, and we know what white powder is. That was found in one of like little cubbies in the Navy. Now, most times you would call the FBI, blah, 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 blah. No, this motherfucker's like, you know what? We'll keep it in house, and we're gonna do a elaborate search to find out if there's any more white. Because again, by accident, they found the white powder. Someone like must have hit it, but then like the ship shifted to a certain point that it got out of the hiding spot, and it was there. It happens, whatever. And I remember this. They found a shitload of marijuana, a crap load of dildos, a whole bunch of porno mags, a freaking like just guns, like guns is not supposed to be there, and freaking like lube and pills and a whole bunch of stuff. And the captain never said that publicly. And I've always
of course not.
I to this day, again, he wanted to save face. I'm like, you don't want to be the ship that had like so much drug paraphernalia. And again, the dildos itself were so many by the guys and the girls on both sides, ladies and gentlemen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, back in those times, you couldn't openly say you were gay or openly, in a closet and be okay with it. And again, there were people that when I was on special detail, when I got on probation, at the time I went to the military court. Most of the times it was like, yeah, I got caught sucking off somebody in the closet. Yeah, it happens. I gotta do this for 3-4 weeks. Shit happens. I'm like, and then ironically, he's one of the guards. Like, he's okay. He won't get punished because like he was attacked by the guy's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2001.
One of the guys I went to A school with, I dated him briefly in A school. He went to his command. He was on a ship, And the girl he dated between me and going to this command, her last name was Doctor, which we all
Okay.
thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
But he was put out of the Navy on a don't ask, don't tell discharge.
Huh.
And
Oh,
he's now married and
okay.
living up here.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good for him.
But yeah, don't ask, don't tell was a thing.
It's more than a
And
thing. It's more.
that they're
We'll get you there. We'll get you there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
that they're gonna bring it back.
Of course they
But
will, because they think it was the smart thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna tell you during this whole thing, the reason I have PTSD because of the memories. Like I said before, trauma and wonder is a wondrous thing because you have an imprint of the memory from something traumatic or something wondrous. Wondrous, dolphin jumping over a humpback whale making a rainbow. Traumatic, a woman getting VIO, because I know YouTube doesn't like the words. On
I forgot you were part of the crew for that.
yeah, I knew that woman. She was an
Yeah.
acquaintance. She was really cool person, like always quiet, had really good jokes, loved eggs with mushrooms as well, and like different types. I remember her because of that. I'm like, no, ladies and gentlemen, it's not even a shame kink. It's not the shame kink. It's the fact that, okay, first off, in the Navy, when I was there, people did things to each other or to other people that were freaky as hell, and I'll get to that. Because again, but okay, before I digress, that day that traumatized me too, because on that same day that poor woman got VIO and her nipple got cut off, like got bit off, and her ear got bit off, and a part of her nose got bit off, and the Navy fronted for the plastic surgery because they knew they messed up. They messed up because the Marine did that to her.
Oh yeah.
And the Marine was on some type of drugs in 2001 that we don't even know what the hell it was, but it was like really hardcore. And I thank the God for that MP that again was just. I said this in another place. The MP that wasn't supposed to go on the beach, but went to the beach because he's like, you know what, I want to see the beach. I'm here. I want to see the beach. And by him just choosing that, he saved a life.
Yep.
He didn't get reprimanded, so I thank the gods for that. Like, he was supposed to get reprimanded because he wasn't supposed to be at the beach, but thank the God. Thank you for that. But
yeah,
I remember
because
that.
he happened to be in the right place at the right time. She is still alive today.
God. Now, there were people that traumatized me too. I'm not gonna say her name, but people in the chat that know me from the BHR. There was a certain woman that used to hang out with us in the cafeteria aisle. Very skinny, very small. Had a Marine husband that was apparently a cuck in a sense of it all. The day I met her, I knew this was an omen, but I didn't see the signs. The day I met her, it was me, redhead, and two other guys, and we were in her house with her husband, which I think her husband was there or not there at the moment. Redhead and two other guys was running a train on, let's call her Ride. So they were running a train on Ride, and they like people would periodically come out of the door and then sit down and drink and then hang out and chill and then like tag. That's how it was. I did it because I was like my first time there. I think Donald was there too. I don't think so, but I think Donald was there. We were watching an MTV reality show called Scare. I think it was called like that, where people would go inside like with the body cams, with the camera like this next to them, and they were going like places like that. It was around 2001, 2002. It was really like weird.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, it's a very crappy MTV reality. They tried their best, but it was really unique. So what happened was, at the moment where where this guy got scared by, he thought he saw an object, in the distance. Ride came out butt naked with a 70s bush, and redhead came out too. And I got freaked out because I thought it was like, and I think it was like the time when the rain came out too, I think. So I'm like, ah! So I got freaked out. So that was a game of PTSD. Now, ironically, ladies and gentlemen, Ride became my girlfriend for about 27 days later on in life, after Ride had everybody. No, no, because the question right here is there is there STDs amongst them? In the time of it, no, because if you had an STD and someone else got it in my ship, they would be scarlet witched so fast. So this woman has it. Like I remember one person came in and it was like about third year, like the third year I was there. One person came in, and every time someone comes in, is fresh fish for women and men. Like, oh, look how sexy that person is. So that person came in, and then she had relations with 3 guys in that 1 week. And in those 3 things, all 3 of them had to go to the doctor because they had a like either syphilis, gonorrhea, or the other, or chlamydia. Like, boom. So once all the 3, and again, they didn't say shit. But again, you're on a ship like a high school. The doctor told everybody this girl has this and she's projecting this. Onyx Blade, como está mi amor? But one of my favorite loyalist fans. Check out Onyx Blade on YouTube. Wonderful person. Yeah, she was Scarlet Witched. She didn't have a date for like a year on that ship. Like no one wanted to touch her. But let's go back to Ride. Ride was my girlfriend for 27 days. Ride, and again, this is viewer discretion is advised. Ride was the first ever person that gave me a deep throat. That was the most beautifulest thing in the world. It was like poetry in motion. And she bought me a carton of cigarettes after the fact. So I was like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that.
Good girl.
Oh, I mean, I thank you for that, baby. If Cardala, if you're watching, that's you heard her say she said good girl. After the 28th day, and this was the 28th day was beer day, where after 90 days at sea, when you don't get to drink, you get 2 beers, or you can barter or do black market dealings for different things, dude. Budweiser ran out in 45 minutes. However, if you knew the deals, trade 4 for 2, trade 6 for 2, trade 8 for 2, work it out, boom. So I traded something. I traded 2 buds, and I got it. I was trying to find her. I found her down all the way down where they storage the hovercrafts, right?
Elcax.
Yes.
God,
And
those things are cool.
those are cool. I saw them. Like I saw them come out before. I want to say that, ladies and gentlemen, when you see that in real life, and you feel like the spritz of the sea air, like right next to you and just going hard, is really cool. Well, in memory of that, she was having a threesome in one of those. Yeah. So we broke up, I guess, in her eyes that day. So I never talked to her after that. She still rode, as you could say, and went around and stuff like that. And she broke my heart. That turn. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, no one really knows this. Ride turned me into the man whore that I was before, and turned me into like the heartless lover, that I can love somebody and I can give 100% of my love, but my heart is turned off. And it's a weird trait, but it's just the way it is. I'm sorry for that. Honestly, I mean, that's just me, but that's one the way Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we can talk about the deckhand that threw the deck woman over the Bonhomme Richard in the middle of the night. That actually happened. We could talk about the time where one of my friends that was working in IT spent $3,000 on a Japanese girlfriend that she had on the dime of the Bonhomme Richard, that she would use the phone and call someone from Japan hours and hours and hours, and it cost him between $3,000 to $5,000. So for his punishment, he was traumatized. They put him on garbage duty at nighttime, and you know what I mean by that. Like in the middle of the night, everyone's coming in with garbage, and you're dressed up like a butcher, and you just gotta throw garbage overseas, but you just gotta touch it and just like all that stuff. And he had to do that for about 6 months, still working in IT.
Why do I have a feeling I know which IT that was?
Mm-hmm. Black guy, glasses, dirty.
Nope. That one I didn't know.
No. But there's other stories as well. There's the tragic tale of Olga. I wanted to say this because she needs to be recognized, even though I don't know if she's alive or dead right now. Olga was a woman that came from Holland, right? Olga got transferred into the cafeteria because apparently they couldn't understand her voice. It was just like, you're a deckhand, but we really couldn't understand you, so we're gonna put you in cafeteria until you get better English. That's exactly her words. Olga loved pythons. Olga loved meeting the new people. Olga got freaking. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a sport now where people slap each other and knock each other out. Back in 2001, there was a sport called the same thing but with butts, and she was the champion where guys would just like run 10 feet as fast as they can to her butt and just like,
Yep.
and she would either like it or I don't know, maybe for attention. I don't really know. Olga, she started hanging out with me and a couple other friends back in the drum and bass crew that we used to hang out back in those times. Olga hanged out with a bunch of Marines by accident at a rave. Olga got VIO by the 4 guys and dropped off to us in the same rave on the same night like a doll. Here you go. We're done. I'm like, what do you mean we're done? And it took her about half an hour to realize and tell us like, hey, yeah, they VIO because she was like all fucking drugged up. Olga did some really crazy things for attention after that. Olga got kicked out the Navy. Olga bought a python and a python box and a python, all that shit, and then was living homeless from place to place. Olga got on a balcony on 45-degree weather somewhere in San Diego on someone else's boyfriend that was not her own. Olga was living on the street last time I saw her in 2002 with a python and a python box, living on the street.
Not uncommon.
Yeah.
Not uncommon for those of us who have lived through that. So we're going to take and watch a quick clip to, lighten the mood a little bit. Here's a fun clip from your channel.
Driving into the neon night, whispers in shadow corners, secrets burning twist tight, freaks in the Coquíto Cabaret. Bodies grand in smoky haze, flesh on fire, raw desire, lips whisper forbidden praise, dance wicked in forbidden bass. Dirty talk on haunted stage, he seems up the mirror cage, taboo tales break and rage, live wild at Coquíto Cabaret.
Oh,
Intro.
sweet Jesus, that's good.
Intro clip to one of your podcast type things.
Yes. Now,
Okay. Yeah.
should be.
Tell me about it. What is the Coquíto Cabaret?
Now, I have had let's just say it like this. After thinking I've dated 56 girlfriends in my life and then whittling it down with a hard psychologist to about 25, and then finding out that I've had about 175 sexual encounters, no diseases, ladies and gentlemen, shooting to the moon, love that. The thing about it is that I've had so many stories of so many things that I've done. Again, in the Navy alone, I was a hoe. A straight up hoe. Like, I just stuck my thing in anything. So and that traumatized me too, because I thought that was love. I thought that was connection. I didn't really understand that until later on in life. And again, there's still a part of me that still thinks that, like, oh yeah, connection. No. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. For me, it's not. Now, Coquíto Cabaret was a collaboration with me, which it still is collaboration with me and my beautiful girlfriend, future wife, Cardala. And we had the idea And I told her, like, do you know who Dr. Ruth is? She's like, yeah, I've heard about her. I really see. And I remember Dr. Ruth back in the 90s that she was a sex psychologist. Like, this is a sexologist where she would talk about sex and really try to explain things. And she was trying to explain things during the HIV era to try to give more enlightenment on things like that. Because again, people were really stupid in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you think people are stupid now in 2024? Oh, like, no. Go back to 1990s where people didn't understand HIV. Like, people got shocked when Princess Di grabbed the HIV guy's hand. Like,
Yes.
that was, and
We had no idea how it spread. And so,
No.
yeah, people just freaked out over everything.
I'm old enough, ladies and gentlemen, to remember and wonder that in the real world San Francisco, there was a guy who had HIV. He was gay and he had AIDS, and he was there and he rocked it. He was, again, these were things that in the 90s, people who are stupid and ill-informed will say these things. Now, go 30 years later, we're in the same predicament again. It's just anyway. Anyway, Coquíto Cabaret is basically, we want to talk about subjects that no one really talks about now. And I've Googled it. No one talks about polyamorous in a sense of like everyday life. No one talks about key parties. No one talks about swinging. No one talks about thruples. Like, and people ask me around like, oh, how would you like understand a throuple? How would that work? Like you love your girlfriend, but then you also love like 4 of these girls. But an example, I'll give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. Coquíto Cabaret is based on like, I love my girlfriend, right? But at the same time, my heart has been not even fractured, but given a piece to certain types of individuals in my life, right? Ex-girlfriends, my mom, my son, and everything like that. So I've come to the understanding that you can love things and love people and talk about stories. And at the same time, we want to talk to people who are adult performers, sexologists, people who have traumatized by that and gone beyond it. Because I've met people in my life right now that are so recycling on their trauma, on things that's happened to them, on things that are happening to them, like either a monthly basis. You can't. Yeah, it sucks. Life sucks. Things that happen to you sucks. And then the things around you sucks. But you get to wake up and you get to talk about it. And you get to do something other than sucking. And that's the point I want to tell people at Coquíto Cabaret. Ask questions that you should not be scared to ask. Like, really, do you have a fetish? Do you like certain things? Do you want to talk about certain functions of a tool, of a toy? Like, do you have erectile dysfunction and you want to take the pills, but you don't really want to? All these stuff that are on the street, is this really safe for you? Or should you try something natural? Just really questions like that, because no one's yeah, there's experts, but that's experts. High rise up in a condo looking down on us.
Yeah.
There's no people on the street.
There's nobody talking about it who actually is part of the community. People who are into BDSM, who are willing to talk about it. Hey, kid. Or people who are in polyamorous relationships who are available to talk about. Make sure everybody shares a Google Calendar so you know where everybody is, every day.
Yeah.
And you can coordinate doctor's appointments and dates and time with the kids and, vet visits so everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Communication and scheduling are the 2 biggest, most important things in a polyamorous relationship. Trust me, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Got the scars to prove it too. So yeah, and having people, everyday people like us, who can talk about how living the lifestyle and talk about how awful 50 Shades of Grey is, and it does not actually show a genuine BDSM relationship. This is true, you never have.
Yep.
Ash is saying he doesn't trust experts.
No.
talking to people who actually live this.
every
And I
day.
love that you have this show. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Because,
And again,
wait,
it can only happen with me and her. It's not. I told myself I can do a show about sex and topics like that. I can go all off, but it's just another show about me. It's not that I'm turning into the experts that I'm not listening to. So I have to have a partner with me that understands me and that's with me at the same time. But go on.
I could Gib slap you if you say something stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. She's told me. She's told me plenty of times. 'Cause again, I'm technically in a throuple in a sense right now, ladies and gentlemen. I love my girlfriend. I'm gonna marry her. I've always said that publicly plenty of times. We've already passed our 2-year anniversary. We're about to pass our 2-year anniversary. Um, oh shit, baby Cardala, I love you. It's our 2-year anniversary. You forgot it. I said it first. Haha. All right. I said it first. Can't get mad at me. Can't get mad at me. But with that being said, I'm like, yeah, this is just this is one project that I want to do. Like one of my real projects with Coquíto Cabaret is to have, again, people who do OnlyFans now, people that do adult entertainment, people that do cosplay. And I know a lot of people here that do a lot of cosplay that are freaks. And people
yeah.
that you shouldn't be shame kinked, as we said in the comics. You should never be shame kinked. And I know a lot of people that do a lot of freaky stuff, ladies and gentlemen, like things that be like, yeah. But and then you see them the next day, and they're super sweet and they're bubbly and everything. I'm like, I just saw you do something that made my toes curl just hours before, and now you're just like eating a cupcake like it's nothing. I'm like,
You okay there, dude? Yep.
yeah, you have to accept it sometimes. I'm like, all right, okay, like I said, weird things happen, but that's Coquíto Cabaret. And again, we haven't really started yet until my girlfriend comes back. So now my girlfriend's coming back in about December, then we're gonna start doing all these topics again.
Nice.
So
I found out kind of by accident that my prom date from high school is a furry. And let me tell you, this guy, pencil necked geek when we
yeah,
were in school. So he was the last person I would ever have imagined. And he's like, "Do you hate me now?" And I'm like, "Fuck, why would I hate you? What you're doing doesn't hurt me. Yeah.
no,
You're just as fucking queer as I am, so why would I hate you?"
yeah, exactly. Like it's just, I know people right now that likes to get things, liquids on them and degrade them. Great people though, solid rock people. I'm like, we're in 2024, ladies and gentlemen. We've already went through the 80s. We already went through the 90s. 2000s was just really being expressive. 2020s now are just like, we have pills for everything.
Oh yeah.
So really, you could do whatever the hell you want. And that's the part that people are not saying out loud. You can do whatever the hell you want. But there's like, here's a gun and here's a reserve of animals. Have fun. There's rules. And then they push your ass out of here. I'm like, wait, what? Whoa! You have to really follow the rules and like understand what rules are. And again, I'm not putting rules out there for what your kinks is, but there is a thing called the abyss, and that is real. And you should never ever try to find the bottom of the abyss, because then you'll be in the bottom of the abyss. You just never come out. That's the part that I try to tell people. Like, yeah, there's kinks, but then there's obsessions, then there's addictions, and then there's a need. And that primal thing is very dangerous. And no one understands it because no one taught you how to harness it. And Coquíto Cabaret should be that. Like, here's a place where you can chill and talk about this stuff with no shame, no kink.
Yep.
But, ladies and gentlemen, there is a free version and there's a Patreon version. Patreon version kind of reminds you that, and again, I don't want to do this, but I gotta put it out there because I realize that YouTube doesn't like me saying uncensored things. So on Patreon, for $5 a month, Alice Coquito, you just hear the real topics, talking to OnlyFans people that have been in the real things, talking about how they live their lives. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can be an OnlyFans creator in America. Sure, whatever. Someone found out. Oh my God, I'm shamed. You can drive somewhere else in America and live somewhere else. That's your right as an American. I live in Puerto Rico. Someone finds out where you live, you still live there. You got to
It's
wake
not
up
a
every
very
day.
big island.
No, 100 miles by 30, 100 miles long. No, sorry, 100 miles wide by 35 miles up. That's all it is. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
My personal opinion.
Yes.
I don't care if you're selling your body to corporate America or to a corporate American. Work is work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ladies. Oh, man, you like. I'll send you a Telegram link later. Like, not really gonna do that because that's kind of fucked up. But there's Telegrams here, ladies and gentlemen, where Telegram links where people are like, look, I live in this place. Ba 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 ba. Give me this much. I'll do whatever the hell. I'll do whatever you want. Love you, long time, and that's how it is. Because here in Puerto Rico, and I hate to say this, the unemployment rate is 46%, and there's 3.2 million Puerto Ricans. That's almost half. That's 1.6, almost 1.6 of a million Puerto Ricans that are not working. So we either hustle, we sell it, or we scam it, or we rob it, which is sad. But that's our own. That's government shit. But yeah, that's Coquito Cabaret. I love you, Cardala. I'll see you soon. We're gonna do it for actually the comeback episode is long distance relationships and long distance longing. Thank you for that. Where if you're in a long distance relationship, how should you resolve it? Should you get a pass? Should you video chat? Should you always be accepting when a person wants to self-pleasure themselves? Or should you tell them to no, wait until I get back? There's a lot of questions, again, because there's a tree. Again, there's a tree of so many different questions that you can ask of a long-distance relationship. By the way, my girlfriend doesn't even know this, but she'd be like, oh, what the fuck? But that's the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened. And by the way, I have a free Patreon every 2 weeks. I talk about a unique and crazy crime. The crime coming up in about 1 week is what happens when 3 carjackers rob the wrong car.
Oh no.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That sounds interesting.
Oh,
okay. You gave me the perfect segue here. You mentioned government BS.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was on your show the other day, you mentioned you are going to be running for mayor. Mm-hmm. How's that going? As you take a drink, I'm so wonderful with my timing.
Thank you. I want to thank, by the way, Magna. This is a unique beer that you can only get in Puerto Rico because they only make it in Puerto Rico. That's what I said. It's like a Puerto Rican Heineken. Very delicious.
The label looks Heine.
It does, and the taste is kind of Heine, but this is the only type of beer that you can have hot and it doesn't taste like vomit. That's the difference. Nice. The only version. Now, the reason I want to run for mayor, by the way, my current mayor that I've not liked for the last 12 years won again, so we got another 4 years on his ass. The reason I want to be mayor of my town is the simple fact that I want to do something special for my town. My town has always taken care of me. I have been homeless. I have lived in people's houses here in my town. I have seen people enjoy life and scared of life. I've seen the gang wars. I've seen brothers fight for domination for gang wars. I've seen the FBI come here numerous times, and the marshals. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you think you can steal a baby and come to Luquillo and think you can hide the baby, you're a dumbass, because the U.S. Marshals found your ass right next to a pizza shop. Like, oh no, the baby! That baby's part of the U.S. Marshals. Give me that baby back. And then they sent the baby back. Someone stole the baby. So that's what I mean. I have been, one time in my life, I knew these two brothers, right? Let's call them Bob and Tim. Bob and Tim used to work for the drug industry. Say it like that. Bob and Tim had a great mother who raised them right, but understood what their jobs were, but raised them on the understanding that you had to be honest, respectful, and loved your brother, good or bad. The mother died. There was a position in the drug industry where one of them was going to be the top dog, but only one of them. And they could have done it civilly. They could have talked about it. They didn't. And they proceeded to have a matrix fight. And ladies and gentlemen, what's a matrix fight? Is when two people shoot each other. No, actually, no, a face-off fight. When they have a face-off fight and they shoot each other and they keep running side by side, but they don't kill each other. They just shot everything but each other. That's what they did. They shot clips after clips and they went side by side. Not one bullet. They hit everything but themselves. And I was about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, about 80 to 100 feet away in the plaza. They shot a stray bullet, and I was sitting with my, at the time, was going to be the future mother of my child. And a bullet hit it was a cement seat. And the bullet hit like right on the side of my butt. Not it didn't hit my butt, but it hit the cement part next to my butt. And I was like, it was getting crazy. We all knew about the gang wars. We all knew about it, but it was getting to the point like innocent people like me and her and my friend Bahapanti, aka Panty Dropper, that actually was his name, and it still is his name to me. I love you, Panty Dropper. Was the fact that like it had to change. It had to change. Municipal cops were driving around, but they didn't care. They didn't really care. Like they would arrest you for no damn reason. You're making too much noise. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm in my car and my speaker. What? I'm parked. I'm about to turn off the. Nope. $200 fine. Oh, you're parked illegally. This is the white zone. No, tomorrow's going to be yellow. So it doesn't matter. Since tomorrow's going to be yellow, I'm going to charge you now today. I'm like, what the These are things that actually happened. So I want to be the mayor for the fact that I want to change the aspect of my town. I want to fix the abandoned buildings and turn them into apartments for locals so they can live there. I want a boys and girls club in my town, an actual boys and girls club, a non-corrupt boys and girls club, so people can learn a trade. Because here in my town, you learn to be a mechanic, you cut grass, or you're a hairstylist. That's it. Or you learn to be an alkie and work life as an alkie. Whatever. I want my son, who's 15 right now, to...
God, how is he that old already?
Obviously he can't, but I want his son to be like, Dad, I want to learn something. Okay, fine. You don't have to go 3 towns over to learn something. In this town, you can learn whatever the hell you want, and the town can back you up. And there's no me trying to sell the beaches to the people or me trying to sell the beaches to the... No, I'm not doing that. I've openly said it. Once I become mayor, all the places that the mayor has already sold off to the companies, I'm like, all right, you want to live here? Sure. There's a thing called a fuck you tax. The fuck you tax is that all these companies have to give me a big ass chunk. Those monies go straight to the town for the kids, for the education, for festivals, for party, all that shit. And then you have to openly say in a banner in front of your company, we pay this much tax so we can give back to the community. So at least you can openly say that you have to pay. That's what I want. I'm tired of this. I'm not selling the beaches. I hope to become mayor.
There's so much more to it.
The thing is, the mayor is based on numbers. This mayor, we have 17,000 people in my town. 17,000, right? The mayor won by 1,405 votes. The competitor lost by 1,029 votes. That's what I mean. It's about the numbers. It's not about me doing the right thing. It's about finding 1,500 fucking votes to fucking do it. The reason I'm doing it, my long con, sorry, not long. I shout out to Kaiser Soze. The long game is the fact that by 2032, I want people to see, look, I've been transparent for 8 years. I have been transparent in everything. I have talked about everything. I have shown everything in paper by his own. And I want to be the mayor because I want some change in my life. Because if there's no change, all we're doing is making our town smaller and smaller and smaller, while everything around us. And speaking of my beautiful future wife, Cardella Mohammed, thank you, baby.
Hi, Cardella.
No, okay, here we go. Okay, now my beautiful girlfriend says that our anniversary was October 14th. I, being the historian of our relationship and the one that's older, knows that it's on November 14th. So she can't say anything. She says it's October 14th. She doesn't want to admit that I'm right. So I get it. Now, other things I want to do for the mayor, I actually want to like fix the lights. I want the town, like again, in my town, we have 5 muralists. We have artisans. We have people that can make you cups. We can make you coconut things. We can make you shirts. We can make you anything you could ever imagine. We can make anything. And I want a festival every month. Not to make, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will, and every mayor gets I think of like 20, 30 to $50,000 a month for their check. I'll just take 10%. As long as I can pay my bills, pay for gas in my car if I have a car at the time, and make sure I have food in my house. That's it. The rest of the money will be donated to kids that need help, special ed kids that are autistic, kids that I will publicly say this right now on record. I don't need a lot of money. I didn't grow up with shit. I didn't grow up rich, so I can grow poor and I can still be the mayor poor. Because I don't need the money. Why? Like, why do I need a Benz? I can drive a Volvo. Why do I need a nice watch? I have a phone that tells me the time. Look, boop, time. Why? Like, that's the point that I want to show people now. And in 8 years, like, yeah, this guy's been honest. And the thing that the mayor hates, the thing that the mayor fucking hates, the current one, is that I have people that recognize me. And again, being a mayor, trying to be a mayor in this town is about people in this town that knows you and the credibility and the respectability that you have in your family name and you. My dad worked here until he died. Public servants, never got any scandal. My mom started off as a nurse, then went to maintenance, then went to freaking help being a teacher's assistant for special ed kids. Then being a teacher for special education. Now she's a treasurer. Never left my town. Got the jobs. Everyone in this kid that grew up in my age, who are around between 25 and 30, know who my mom is and be like, that woman is a saint and her family are great people. That's the point that the mayor hates. You can't crap on me if my family, you can crap on me on one thing, on one family member, and that's fine. And I have statements for that later. That's fine.
Every family has that one member that's a little.
Yeah, no, not even that. Not even that. My that one family member did a bad thing and was like judged by court, and that will be a stain on our family. But he has been redeemed, rejuvenated. All those words you want to say, ladies and gentlemen. But I will say this now. That's not the problem. The part is, the part is I want to tell people is that yes, I will find 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. The part and I will find people to say, hey, vote for me because I want to help you. I want to make a public garden and make vegetables, so I will bring it to your house every week on the dot. Let's go. Puerto Rico has the most richest lands in the world that we can grow anything at such an expeditious rate that you have no idea. I saw a mango tree got cut, right? Got cut, and it was just at the root. Okay, it was really too big. This before you get all crazy. There's a shitload of mango trees around here. That's not a problem. We're not extinct on that. But that mango tree got cut. 3 years later, there's already a tree growing out of that stump.
Nice.
Because the land is so rich, it can't stop but growing. That's what I mean. Like, it's just things that happen. Things that just happen in life that just whatever. But the point I'm saying is that that's why I want to be the mayor. I want the kids in this generation not to run away and not to resort to gangs and just doing stupid things. If you want to learn how to do something, do something. Tell me what you want to do. Oh, I want to learn how to do robotics. Okay, fine. We'll find some people in the north that are bored, that ain't doing nothing. Hey, you want to teach robotics? These people will give you business money. You tag the town. Don't. By the way, in all my campaign ads in the future, I will say this now: my face will not be on it. I've always hated that. You don't have to show your face. Hey, Alice Coquíto, words. The Mayor Luquillo, words. That's it. No one wants to see my eyes or my nose or my beautiful hair. No, just read the words. And then my campaign slogan: I'm not corrupt. They are.
I love it.
Exactly. That's it. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not corrupt. They are, man. I just. Sorry, but that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Thank you.
Okay, you have mentioned your son quite a few times.
Yeah.
And I suspect I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to get to the one Cardala asked. What would you say to your son if he came to you and said, Dad, I want to join the military?
Now, the normal answer would be like, oh, depends on the type of military. No, I'm not going to do that. If you wanted to join the military, I would tell him, trust yourself, but trust a very close circle, and understand that you are not control of the actions that you do. You are a soldier in the actions of what have people in control too. So that's all I'm gonna say. Because honestly, I can be like the dad and like, don't do it. You're stupid. If you join the Navy, you're gonna be scrubbing toilets. If you join the Air Force, you're gonna be a tall ass guy that people are gonna make fun of. If you join the Marines, again, my son is 6'5". So look at it.
my
Like, you're a
God.
big ass target. You're a big ass target. If you join the Army, you're a big ass target. If you join the Coast Guard, why? Shout out to the Coast Guard. I didn't mean it like that, but I mean, come on, why? But
And-
that's what I mean.
Join the Space Force.
Even then, if my son wanted to be the Space Force, I'm like, all right, fine. You want to be the Space Force? You want to go to space? I would love that. Know that when you come back, your bones are gonna be brittled and fucked up afterwards. That's on you. But you saw space. I respect that. Like, the sacrifice is there.
Yep.
So
My kids, the only thing I have said is my middle child is AFAB, born femme. And the only thing I have said to any of my kids is, you join the Marine Corps, I will disown you.
yeah,
Just saying. And they know it's only a half joke.
yeah,
But I would not recommend my middle child join the military because of the fact that so many females in the military are assaulted. And my
Yep.
sons, I'm like, I can't tell you you can't do it because I did, your father did. So, not going to be the hypocrite there. I'm just going to say, be smart.
yeah. I mean, I have to answer that question as well. What is some topics I'd like to talk about more shamelessly? I would like to talk about more corn addiction. Corn addiction
Yes.
is a thing that is a real thing that, again, you can either be like, oh, I love you, baby, but I love the TV. But and then be like, I love you, baby. I love the TV. So that's like, it's a thing that you got to talk about. That is something that you have to find a medium. Again, I'm away from my girlfriend for 3 months now, and she knows that I like corn because it's always random. The wondrous thing about Twitter, it's random. There is never a set base of what you're looking for. Like, all right, oh shit, this is just all right. Let's just fucking go. But with people like her, there should be topics talk about that. Like, what do you do? What do you do when you're far away? What do you do when you have an addiction? What do you do when you like feet? What do you do when you like hair? What do you do when you like furries? What do you do when you like women who are just ratchet that needs to be fixed? That is one of my kinks. Like I always want to fix them. Like I can fix you. You're gonna be fine. Yes, you're ratchet. Yes, you've already had 12 gangbangs by the time you're 19. Yes, you've already freaking done so many drugs that there's things that should that are festering in your body that's gonna be a virus in the next 12 years. But I can fix you. What do you do with that? Like those are questions I want to talk about. Cardala, aka my co-host and Coquíto Cabaret. So
Something that I know of that a lot of women and even more men don't realize is when a woman uses a toy too much, it can affect her ability to get off with another person.
true, true.
So, I mean, you've got a really good thing here, a really great idea, because these are things that need to be talked about. And with the state of sex ed in at least the Western world, we need more conversations like that.
I will say this though, my sex ed teacher my age shocked me to hell because she got like this 9. I remember this at I think it was like eighth grade. Yeah, 8th grade. Sex ed teacher's like, all right, we're gonna learn how to put it on a condom and everything else. Here's a giant 8-inch dildo. Pack. Here we go. All right, and you remember you gotta get all the bubbles out. You gotta get all the bubbles out. And the funny thing was, this is something that's not. I never said this out loud. The teacher, right, was a sex ed teacher in my town. Her daughter was right behind me, and everyone knew because they had the same fucking face. I'm like, and then like they're making jokes like, "Oh yeah, your mama knows how to do that, huh? Oh yeah, look at that." It was so embarrassing, but it taught me about sex and it taught me about how to put a condom. So, and by the way, she still lives here. But now she lives in Florida, has a wonderful life. The mom, old but still, will tell you that she was a sex ed teacher, proud as hell. There's also something else that we need to talk about in topics of life, like why, oh why, is cuddling and snuggling not more of a thing? It should be a national holiday. It should be a cuddly snuggling day. It should be a warm coffee in bed day with yourself or with someone else or with your pet. Put that out there. That's all I gotta say. That's it. Whew.
Speaking
Yes.
of pets, making sure I'm not kicking one.
Yes.
I agree with you. And the rampant homophobia that has caused so many men to not realize that they can be affectionate with someone other than their romantic partner.
Yeah.
And because, and this is something I have seen and heard from so many people, the American men will travel overseas to Japan or to Italy or Spain, and see boys walking around holding hands just like the girls are.
Yeah.
And nobody freaks the fuck out over it because
Yeah.
it's normal. Because they understand over there that it's not gay to be affectionate and human beings need that physical connection.
Yeah. It's
And
yeah. You're right. You're right. Like
that's
people
one of
look
my
at me-
soapboxes that I can get up on.
No, it's okay. You're totally right. Like people look at me weird when I'm grabbing Cardala's hand and I'm walking to the supermarket. And I've seen in the north where I live, that's more. It's kind of again, it's kind of like if you live in California, people who live in California, like there's certain places where you won't see two of the same gender grab each other's hands without like. But then if you go to San Francisco, you're like, this is a normal thing. Here in Puerto Rico, it's about the same thing as well. Like you'll just see in the north, San Juan, San Dulce, just like people holding hands of the same gender, totally fine. Even where I live, it's very, very like down low gay here, like super down low gay, where we all know who gay, who not gay, but they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, sure, but like we know, it's kind of like it's out there. It's like the gaydars, like, and you assign saying it. I'm like, all right, sure. You know, no, of course, even here, who has family, parents, and are like, I've met people like, yeah, I'm super gay. I like that go down and everything. I'm like, I can't tell my wife. I'm like, do you love your wife? Oh, I just got married for the kids. I'm like, and genetically, like I told him, like genetically, won't you think your son or your daughter will be gay later on because you are gay and you just had a kid because you just didn't want to know, like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then ironically, one of the kids is gay. I was like, well, there you go. Like genetically, it happens. So,
Yep.
you know, I understand where you're coming from completely. Here, yeah, we're still outdated. We're way still outdated. Christian people were like, you're going to hell. Find Jesus. You don't need them. Like, it's 2024, bro. Let it go. Honestly. So,
Okay, so you bring up God.
yes.
You have your Coca-Cola theory, which I think Ash is still in the comments here. It's very similar to his theory of Bob.
Yeah.
I agree with Vampire Goddess saying I think humans are all bisexual, but we want to label everything. Yeah, Man Behind the Curtain has his 5%, 5%, and 90% theory. 90% of us are wired to be bi.
Yeah.
5% are strictly het, 5% are strictly homo. But yeah, most of us are bisexual. I do know one person off the top of my hand. I do know one person off the top of my head who swears she knows she is straight as an arrow. Because she was playing video games with my son.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey mom, check out this character. Isn't she hot as fuck?" And
Yeah.
he and I were both, yeah, definitely. And his friend is like, "Now see, this is how I know I am completely straight because I don't see it."
Yeah.
So your Coca-Cola theory. Yeah, he's got a
Oh,
clip. Hold
I
on.
don't. Yeah, please do.
Coca-Cola theory, where you have a Coca-Cola from Iraq and then you have a Coca-Cola from France, and they're both the same thing, but they taste
Completely different.
Exactly. So that's what it is. Like all the gods are the same, but they're just completely different off the aspect of where you are, when you are, and how you were raised to be. Because obviously, people still believe Jesus is white to this day, and I'm like, come on, let it go, dude. I'm like, he's my color, and I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I still believe in that theory. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like a prophet that doesn't write the right things down. Thank the God there was record of that because I don't remember that at all. But yeah, I don't remember that at all. But I do believe in the Coca-Cola theory, where depending where you are, you will be a certain aspect of something that you either understand, don't understand, or don't want to understand. That's how it is. Because here again, Puerto Rico here, a lot of people who are gay but can't openly say they're gay because of the aspect of like religion, culture, and then people literally calling you the F word on a regular basis. I've heard people here that are not supposedly gay that call each other the F word random times a day, multiple. I'm like, if you say it all the time, I think you are. And I understand that. Then you have to factor in jail. Oh, jail doesn't count. Jail counts. Jail super counts, bro. It doesn't, I don't care what you say. So, and even in the
Is
aspect
that
of,
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas moment?
yeah, in jail, yeah. That's what happens. And here's the crappy thing about that. With aspects of people like who are bisexual and don't want to admit it, that's the part that hurts them because then you're putting a layer on yourself and not expecting, well, you're putting a layer on yourself and expecting happiness afterwards, when in fact that when there's a hole of water coming through a wall and then you just put a wall over it and expect it not to not to matter, the water's just gonna break that wall and keep going. And an example, let's talk about the 1950s when people were going to speakeasies who were gay and like, I gotta hide and go into this underground fucking bar and meet other guys who are going to an underground bar and making sure no one sees you. Like, that's what, ladies and gentlemen, they made Grindr for a reason. It's not for helping people meet each other. It's just like, I'm gay. Well, you're gay too. I'm kind of a freak. Well, you're a freak too. Do we need to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Not really. Okay. And then that's all you do now. There is no same-sex app that promotes relationships. This is a same-sex act that promotes effing. And I hope people understand that when trying to be bisexual, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Like, you like guys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, when you watch movies and you're seeing your favorite actress getting reamed by whatever, you're saying that you're imagining it as you. That's a damn lie. You're imagining a guy reaming another woman. That's how it is. That's what I mean. Like, you just can't say. I think a southern comedian said it best. Like, oh, you like seeing girls in corn? Oh yeah. Oh, you like seeing that BBC? Oh, it's just the bigger the better. Well, why are you thinking about that then? Like, that's the point of it. Like, guys in general will never admit it, but they're hardwired to be bisexual, but never admit that. And when you're in an environment when it's just guys for a long period of time, military training, or being on a submarine, or just being in a job where it's just guys, you think nothing's gonna happen, but be like, oh, I'm straight, bro. No. It's gonna be a point where he says something nice. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get your revs going by someone saying something nice to you. And that's not gender. That's just like, I like your tie. Oh, thank you. And then, but you like, what are these feelings? That's the point of it. Bisexualism is not about sex. Bisexualism is about feeling feelings from the same gender and liking it. That's how it is.
Yep.
It's always okay. People think I'm weird. I tell guys, you look very sexy. Oh, why are you saying that, bro? Because you do look very sexy. Do you like the shoes, like the pants? Like, I got a girlfriend. I'm okay with my sexuality. I don't have to hide that shit. Like, I think you're very handsome. And people are like, why?
Yep.
Just the truth. But that's my answer. Yes.
Well, see, I'm flashing this around. I am
Yes.
very out about the fact that I am a bi woman.
Yes.
I don't hide it. I giggle about the fact that, my incubator was very homophobic.
Yeah.
I came out to my dad, and he's like, okay, what's your point? I've known that since you were, like, little. Just don't tell mom, she'll disown you. And, I kind of hit the jackpot with all three of my kids also falling under the umbrella.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I fully agree. It's not something that we should hide because this is who we are. It's how we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, in the 90s, we were scared because of all the movies and the content about it. In the 2000s, we kind of shelved away from it. 2010s, we were like, we know bad things are around, but we don't care about it. Now in 2020, we should be in a time in our lives where we can admit, I've had fun. Let's have fun. Like, there's no consequences now. Like, I like you, bro. I like you too, bro. Let's have sex, bro. All right, bro. And then the next day, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese, bro. Like, that's all you gotta do. That's it. I've met so many people in my lives that done those type of things, and then I see them around, like, just having normal dives. Because again, that's just a normal thing that happens. You don't have to get so connected and so dramatic in sex. This is not the fucking 90s anymore. Just have sex and that's it. You walk away. Hey, how was your day? You banged me really good last night, but I'm pretty good. Okay, what are you gonna do tomorrow? Probably buy some McDonald's. Okay, that's it. And then have a conversation. Wow. No one's fighting or crying after that.
I know, right? We are in the year of our Lord 2027. Why are we still homophobic?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just the media. Media teaches us things, and the media still teaches us racism Media still teaches us like divideness. There was a show that I used to watch called Ghost, the BBC version, not the US version. BBC version was based again just based on ghosts and a woman that can see ghosts, but it was a very great story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see it, it's only 3 seasons. It's a great story. That's what I love about that show. It was a story split by 3 seasons. Okay. The US version automatically promotes like racism and sexism and homophobia. Like in the first season, I'm like, I'm tired of that. Why can't we? And again, when we show a show about equality, the PC crowd, oh no, we can't show that. That's wrong. Just put it out there. Just again, we live in a world where you can literally make anything you want and make it into a TV show. Why are we still stuck on the same? All right, next movie, white, blonde, blue-eyed guy is gonna save the world next year. White, blue-eyed guy is gonna save the world next year. I'm like, I'm tired
Or
of it,
rebooting cartoons from the 80s.
which doesn't make any sense. Why? Because 80s, like, oh my god, that's what that's what bothers me even more, where they're just doing the reboot and like, oh, we're gonna do it like this and like, no, just let it the fuck go. Like you have so much money and 8 billion people, 8 to 9 billion people on the planet. No one had an original idea of something. No one thought of something the original. The odds are stupendously stupid. Don't lie to me. So that's what I mean. So
Totally agree with you.
yes.
We have been talking for almost an hour and a half now. Does not feel like it's been that long. Wow.
Nope. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't really delved into like the Navy things. I wanted to delve on away from that because again, it's having any more questions for me? I'd love to talk some more.
Yep. I do, but I don't, because, like I said, you and I both, our time in the service was not the sunshine and rainbows
Of course
that
not.
most people think of when they think of somebody joining the military.
No,
They
of course
either think it's all sunshine and rainbows or it's all, you're standing in front of somebody with an M16 shooting the shit out of them.
not. Yeah.
And no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, however, did have that front row seat to the bloodshed. And I am sorry for that because nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
But you know the one thing that pisses me off the most?
What?
Is when we come home traumatized from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the, well, you knew what you were getting into when you signed up for it.
No. No.
Yes. I wish we were all Time Lords. I will agree with that.
That bothers me because I signed in a month before 9/11. I didn't know 9/11 was gonna fucking happen. Like I didn't know. And then we went to Afghanistan and bombed motherfuckers and killed a whole bunch of people. And then we went to Iraq and bombed motherfuckers and went to a whole bunch of people. Like that's all we were doing for years is bombing. And all the Marines that came with us is like they were all gung ho in the beginning, but by the time they got there, after being on a boat for 3 months and then hearing the politics back and forth, and like I don't want to go there, and then some of them didn't come back. Like 1,100 came to 1,100 went, and maybe 500 came back.
Yep.
500, 600. I'm like, that shit sucks, and I feel bad for them. But this war that it's always every 10 years. The war for Iraq, the war for Afghanistan, the war for Russia, the war for Ukraine, the war for this, the war for that. It's always a repetitive cycle, and no one notices it until the people that have lived long enough to remember it. And I'm tired of being that guy now because I used to make fun of the other guys back when I was 20. Oh, look at those guys. Those are fucking, they're crazy. Talking about the war in Vietnam. I'm like, yeah, now I'm talking about 9/11, and I'm talking about the night of 1,000 tears where they bombed and killed 10,000 Iraqis in one night. And the bottom of Rashard, which is now, thank you for telling me that it's decommissioned and just retired.
Yep, she sank.
Thank you. I mean, I'm not saying thank you. I'm not saying thank you.
I know what you mean.
I know. I had great memories, bad memories, great omelets there. I respect the food that was made there, but it needed to be. It needed to be. It was a ship that was layered in just blood and tragedy and just mistakes. A lot of mistakes. Thank you, Onyx. I love you, sir.
Have a
But
good night.
yeah, but that's all I gotta
But
say about that. Like, I just hope that in the future there is a quantifiable treatment for PTSD and a treatment for trauma.
yes.
There is no right now. There is, ladies and gentlemen, there is no treatment for trauma and PTSD. And I want to say this now to someone that probably will never hear this, but I want to have a record of this. Trauma can define you, overwhelm you, become a cancer, or it can expire you and just make you a better person. And I don't deal with my trauma. If you don't understand that, I understand that as well, but you have it yourself trauma. And you need to understand that by projecting what you think should happen is what the trauma on your back is what is saying to you. What needs to happen is that you need to deal with your own fucking house first. And then you can project what's wrong with me.
Yep.
Till
We
then,
actually have a clip from our conversation when I was on your show
let's go.
of you talking about an incident with a friend because of your PTSD.
Oh, please do. It's probably the same one.
Yeah. And how you react because your PTSD is triggered.
Yeah. Yeah.
People probably have the same instinct. And this rapper said this, and I quote: "When people reach out to put their hand out, I'm reaching for my pocket, which means I'm reaching for my weapon to automatically defend myself." And I do this all the time. My best friend saw me today under the bridge. I was waiting for someone to pick me up, and this drives up like literally he takes the whole sidewalk for himself. And I automatically go for I have a wrench as a keychain. So I automatically go for my wrench and I kind of set it up like I'm gonna stab him. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, and I told him, "Don't do that." Why? I don't know why. I automatically see someone running up on me. I'm gonna run.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I still have that to this day. Something happened yesterday where someone came up to me like, "Hey." I'm like, "Oh, I don't trust anybody at all. I mean, I trust a very close knit circle, 5 to 10 people tops. But other
Yep.
than that, if you come, and this what bothers me when being a content creator. You really can't be a content creator when you don't really trust anybody because you're gonna have to meet people and shake their hands. I'm like, I
Yep.
kind of realize that. I'm like, I'm trying to be a content creator and it's growing. Sure, I'm growing. I'm on my channel. It's fine, but I'm gonna have to come to a point where I'm gonna have to go to other people's places, like physically go to other people's places and sit down with them and to have interviews. And that's the part I'm like, unless I don't have people that I trust next to me, I'm like, you're talking to me, you're telling me all that good, yeah, exactly. You're telling me all that good jive and all that shit, but I don't believe you. Like you just,
Yep.
So that's what I mean.
You've got to have that safe person. I know what you're talking about. I have PTSD from childhood.
Yeah.
And I was, oh God, probably 16 at the time this incident happened. My dad was actively involved with the Elks Lodge, and National Convention happened to be in Portland that year. We were in
Okay.
Oregon. And so we went up and we were hanging out at one of the hospitality rooms. And this older guy who reeked of beer, which is a trigger for me to start with,
Yeah.
walked up and just put his arm around my shoulder. I had never met him.
Yeah.
And I just instantly burst into tears. And that was actually the first time my dad realized that I had PTSD. Because I just lost it. And the poor guy who did this, he did not mean to upset me, and he honestly thought I was older than I was.
Yeah.
And he immediately took his arm off of me and walked away. I was told later that he was extremely upset with himself for causing that reaction in me. But it was just, I had no control over it. I did not know him. He was drunk. He smelled like beer. And it was instant trigger.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry, that was a little loud, snapping my fingers into the mic. How I did not switch in that moment, I do not know. I have multiple personalities, for those of you who don't know me.
Yes.
How I didn't switch, I don't know. But I managed to stay me. But oh, yeah, it's just like with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have been talking for an hour 35. We should probably wrap up, although knowing us, we could continue talking for 3 more hours.
I would until my computer dies, but I love my computer. So yeah, let's wrap this up. Honestly, we'll have a part 2 if you want to. I'm totally fine with a part 2. There's a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, that I have not said.
And like I enjoy talking to you. I just wish we, didn't live on opposite coasts and you in the middle of the ocean where you are.
Of course.
But yes, I have very much enjoyed talking to you, dude. Yes. So, for those of you who know me, you'll be familiar with me saying this. Go out and spread love, spread joy, spread kindness. There is way, way too much hate and discontent in the world, as our experiences well illustrate. For me to say, go out and contribute to it. Tell your loved ones they mean something. You never know when the last chance you're going to get is, and that includes your furry kids. Trust me. You never know when you're going to lose them.
Yep.
And I will see all of the rest of you fantabulous people later. Check out Alex's channels. His Patreon is up. We will have his links in the description box when this goes back up. And I will see you all later. I love you all, guys.
Kiki.
Streets of Puerto Rico can't do the weight. Darkness fell upon us. We're living in this state. Struggle, poverty. It's the price that we pay. But we rise above it all. We won't be swept away. In the land of enchantment, where the shadows gleam, corruption's running deep. Like a secret they keep. But we won't be silenced, our voices won't retreat. We'll fight until the end, till the victory will breathe.